and darshan in our society. Basically becomes because of misconception about what the spiritual experience is about. Can you cut them? Cutting. I am deviating from the Swadhisthana Chakra class. Since the question is there, I'll answer that. Swadhisthana Chakra class is for me 1 day class. So I am not going to complete 10% of that. Huh? So the question is about deities. And realization of a deity. That realization is called Sakshatkara in our Sanskrit term, Sakshatkara. Also it's called Aparoksha Anubhuti. There are 2 words used, Aparoksha Anubhuti, Aparoksha Jnana and Sakshatkara. So what these terms mean? First you have to understand what is deity. Deity is a higher level of consciousness compared to human consciousness. To make you understand very simple way, a human body is related to one body. This is your body. A collective consciousness of a body is called a deity. For example, you have heard a deity called Indra. Who is Indra according to you? Whom you heard as Indra?
Somebody who sits in the heaven.
Lord of Devas.
Lord of Devas. Okay, what do we hear of Indra?
Control of our senses.
Indra is actually master of Indriyas. Okay, your sense organs are controlled by a force, universal force called Indra. It is not limited to you. It's also controlling your sense organs. It's also controlling your sense organs. Something which is universal consciousness operating through all the bodies is called deity, called Indra.
It controls collective senses.
Collective senses of all beings is called Indra. Sense consciousness,
Including animals.
everything. Right? So, Indra is the master of Agni, Varuna, Vayu, and Prithvi, all these Devatas, Panchabhutas. Okay. So, Panchabhutas are also related to the Panchabhuta consciousness, eye consciousness, ear consciousness, sense consciousness, touch consciousness, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Sparsha. So, somebody who is master of these 5 consciousnesses is called Indra. These consciousnesses, eye consciousness is called Agni. The consciousness which brings, what is it? You have an eye, somebody has an eye, but no eye consciousness, you cannot see. That eye consciousness portion is called, controlled by the deity called Agni. So Agni, Vayu, that Vayu is Sparsha, touch. The touch consciousness is absent when the Vayu Devata doesn't cooperate. So Devatas are not somebody who is sitting in some place. Devatas are somebody who operates through all of you. Okay. Only difference between you and Devata is Devatas refer to collective consciousness and you refer to individual consciousness. Is the difference clear? Okay. So we have the avatar Purushas also. Rama, Krishna are these avatar Purushas. Then we speak of deities, Garuda, Rudra, Shesha, Vishnu, Lakshmi. All these deities are different and higher level of our consciousness. That's why it is said, meditate on a deity at the heart center, lotus of the heart center. At the lotus of heart center, I meditate on my Guru. At the lotus of his heart center, Guru, I meditate on Vayu. Like that, the idea of telling you meditate on the heart center is to indicate to you there are deeper and deeper level of inner consciousness. So, a human being can attain a deity consciousness. Not to the extent of the deity has, but to the extent of the human system allows him to. Understand? If you go to a samudra, ocean, somebody goes with a bucket full of water. Bucket can carry one bucket of water. Somebody goes with the one tumbler, carrying that tumbler. To the extent of your system capability, you can experience the deity consciousness. That's called realization of the deity. Okay. The deity in Sanatana Dharma, the deities have some hierarchy. Okay. So at the topmost level of the hierarchy, Narayana is there. From Narayana, Brahma. Narayana himself takes the form of Vishnu. Then Brahma has wife Shakti, Saraswati, Shiva, Shakti, Vishnu, Lakshmi, like that. Depending on the nature of their life, Sattva Guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, Pradhana, the deities come into picture. Now, if you understand the deities as higher and higher level of consciousness of human life, so you will understand the deities properly. So that's why in Shastra said you have to understand the tattva of the deity. Deities are related to tattva, principle. The principles are the universal consciousness takes the form of the presiding consciousness of the world for creation, sustenance and destruction. They are represented, universal consciousness as an ego. Okay, just like you have an ego. You have an ego. Similarly, universal consciousness is an ego, and that's called Rudra, the universal ego. You have a memory. Universal memory is called Shesha. You have an intellect. The universal intellect is called Garuda. Okay. Garuda Gamana Banda, Shesha Shayana Banda. Shesha means remaining. Shesha means in Sanskrit what remains. Understand? What remains?
Experiences.
What remains is when the universe, whatever karma you do, a residual karma remains. The residual karma of the whole universe is together called Shesha. Your individual karma is there, and residual karma of the whole universe is called Shesha. Okay. You have an intellect. Universal intellect is called our form of Garuda. Okay. It is represented as a bird which is flying, because a bird which is flying can see sharply this object down on the earth. Similarly, a purified intellect can see the subtlest object. Garuda Gamana Banda means what? Garuda, your intellect is purified by sadhana, by Shastra, in that purified intellect, you experience Garuda Gamana, which is Vishnu. Shesha Shayanamanda, Shesha is one who is sleeping on the karmic impressions of the universe. So for that experience of deity is what we are speaking of. Now, there's a hierarchy, right? At the top level, there is a Narayana, Vishnu, Lakshmi, Shiva. So this hierarchy is given to represent the tattvas of the universal principles. Highest universal principle is beyond time and space, that's called Narayana. Not in the domain of creation, beyond domain of creation, Narayana. Then, for creation purpose, it takes the form of Vishnu. Vishnu means Vishnu, Vishnu, Vashatkaro. The Vishnu is the one who is pervading whole of the universe. The creation has started. In the creation, just like you have individuals, you have ego. The creation has an ego. It's called Buddha. Okay. And the children of Rudra represent the sub-principles who are derived from that. Okay. So, of the lowest principle, the Shiva's son is Ganesha and Subramanya. Ganesha represents the earthly consciousness which is closest to the earth. Ganesha is Pratama Puja. He has to be worshipped first of all Devatas. Devatas means deity consciousness, higher and higher level consciousness. Okay. Ganesha also is deity for the intellect, Buddhi. Right? So Ganesha is married or unmarried? There's a debate which has been going for billions of years. So what class you fall into? Is married or unmarried?
He's in a relationship.
He is in a relationship. So Ganesha is, they say, some people say he is not married. Some Purana says he is married. He has two wives called Siddhi and Buddhi. Okay. So this wife and husband concept in our Devatas should understand. The husband represents the consciousness. Wife represents the power of the consciousness. Okay. The masculine denotes the consciousness. The feminine denotes the power of consciousness. For example, the fire, okay, is masculine. The burning power of fire is feminine. Brahmaji is the consciousness responsible for creation. Saraswati, intelligence which is required for creation, is the Shakti, the masculine and the feminine. The consciousness, the power of consciousness. Okay. Consciousness and power. There is a Shiva and Shakti. Brahma, Saraswati. Vishnu, Lakshmi. Vishnu is the consciousness for sustaining the universe. Lakshmi is the Shakti, energy and power which is required to sustain the universe. Dana Lakshmi, Dhana Lakshmi, all those things are required. Otherwise, without food you will die. Right? The power, there is a consciousness and power of the consciousness. Power of the consciousness uses the material nature. So these are called masculine and feminine. Okay. So Ganesha represents the intellect. The intellect which is not evolved is not married. It's single, alone. Okay. The intellect which is flowered has Siddhi and Buddhi as wives. Ganesha is Vigna Karaka and Vigna Vinashaka. The intellect which is operating like this will create a lot of trouble for your life and other people's lives also. Intellect which is operating properly is Vigna Vinashaka. You think, start working straight. Okay. Now when I say Ganesha is not individual consciousness, universal consciousness is operating through you. So Ganesha is Pratama Puja. Okay. Any business you want to do, Ganesha has to be worshipped. The only thing which can make things work straight is the clear intellect. Whether it's material success in life or spiritual evolution, without intellect getting straightened up, becoming clear, how can you be successful, whether it's material venture or spiritual venture? That's why you have to do Ganesha Puja. Okay, people do Ganesha Puja, but intellect is not repaired because they do only puja, they don't understand the significance of puja. Anything in spirituality, any religion, without understanding the deeper meaning, if you do it, it's superficial. So, there are 4 ways of experiencing the deity. This is called Salokya, Samipya, Sarupya, and Sayukya. Salokya means you experience the deity in that loka. People are very have wrong understanding that they got Salokya. A deity whom you experience in your loka is called Salokya. What is your loka? Please tell me what loka you are in.
Body conscious.
Okay. Your loka is your body. Your loka, your husband and wife and family. So in that loka, if you experience, it's called Salokya. Typically, it's called a vision. Then comes the Samipya. What is Samipya? Samipya means closeness. How can somebody be close to you? The real closeness is psychological closeness. She is my close friend, yeah. That means you are going always. What is that? So together, whenever you go to bathroom and toilet, also you go together. No, closeness is not that. You are close mentally. Psychological closeness is called Samipya. You become psychologically close to a deity. That's called Samipya. Not physically is the lowest level. Right? Physically, physically you may be working with a billionaire's company, but still you may be struggling for 1,000 rupees. Physical closeness is not real closeness. It's a good to feel. Right? Psychological closeness is you are become closer to the deity. Okay? Psychological. That means your mind also working like that deity. Sarupya means your mind has taken the form of the deity's mind. Sayujya means, that means your mind has taken the form of deity's mind means you can experience the world with the vision of the deity. Sayujya means you have become one with the deity. Salokya, Samipya, Sarupya, Sayujya. These are the 4 levels of experience of a deity.
Please explain that. Samupya once again.
Which one?
Samupya.
Sarupya means your mind has taken the form of the mind of the deity. That means, I'll give you the example, okay? I'm just giving example one way so that
Sayujya means mixing with same. Sayujya mixing with same.
Sayujya means become one. You are no longer your identity is there. You are become one with the deity. Okay. Now I'll give you an example. Somebody is worshipping Rama as the avatar Purusha, God, our incarnation Vishnu. That's it. I'm giving an example to understand, make you understand. Now, is Rama physically there now? Rama was there in Ayodhya maybe 10,000 years back, physically. So somebody experienced Rama in your house, in your place. That's called a vision. A physical vision. Now, what are these physical visions dependent on? It depends on time, depends on space, it will be momentary,
And the
disappears.
concept of what the deity looks
And you
like.
have a concept, right? If you have a concept of Rama as something, mind will project that concept in front of you, right? So these are the conditions. It's a time is there. It can happen only at certain amount of time. There's a space is there. Then your concept also. Your concept of Rama is a Aryan. You will get a Aryan Rama. Your concept of Rama is a Dravidan. You will get Dravidan Rama. Your mind plays a role in that concept. That's called Salokya. Salokya is not just that. Salokya is not just vision. Salokya is you start feeling the presence of the deity in your place. Okay, I will give an example. The example. So the Prime Minister is there. Okay. So Prime Minister is there in Delhi. Now Prime Minister comes to Bangalore. So what happened to the streets? One street will be cleaned and some boards will put, painting will be done. Okay. Now Prime Minister has decided that I will sit in Bangalore only, I don't like Delhi. Delhi is a hot weather. Then what happened to your place? It should be kept clean and clean. So deity appearing to your house or in your place momentarily is a vision. So deity, you start feeling the presence of the deity in your life, then your life will change the way you live. That's a constant vision. I mean, just imagine, right? Let's say tomorrow, Narayana decides to come and sit in your house. Forget Narayana, your in-laws come and sit in your house. One day, once in a occasion, they come, it's welcome. Okay, you do something. Then they decide that I like my daughter-in-law so much, I'll come and sit in my house. How your life? Your life will change. Understand? So the deity's vision momentary is a welcome gesture. If the deity vision becomes constant, okay, then what happened to your life? Your life will get changed. The way you live, the way you work, the way you talk, everything will change. Okay? Now the problem is there. What is the problem? Salokya is only a fraction of reality. Not even the full reality. Why is a fraction of reality?
Within time and space.
There's a time, there's a space, then your mental concept. So where did you get your mental concept from? Huh? You might have read movies, you might have read stories, you might have read the serials, you might have seen the calendar, whatever is that. Your mental concept determines the deity. Should it so? Should it be so? So can you experience the deity free from mental conceptions? Then you have to move from Salokya to Samipya to Salokya to Sayuja. So you experience a deity because you are born in such and such a family. If you are born in some other family, you would experience a deity in some other way. That deity may be coming with a stick, not with the nice flower. Okay, so our mental concepts and social conditioning affect what we visualize, which means our realization is not complete. It's a very partial realization, no doubt good to have, but not complete. Okay. That's called Salokya. The Salokya vision becomes constant, then your life will change. If the life, no change has happened, that means it's not complete in itself. The constant vision. Then Samipya comes. Somebody experiences Rama. Now Samipya comes. What is Samipya? Samipya means closeness, psychological closeness. What is psychological closeness? Let us say you are psychologically close to your friend. Okay? She is my close friend here. She is staying in Delhi and you are here. Not close means not physically close. Or she may be in America. So how do you say psychological closeness?
I was thinking about that.
There is an emotional frequency.
Oh, yeah. She make a phone call. I chose a saree that rings. I also chose a saree. Or I chose a saree with yellow border. Yeah, I also did that. So your mind starts thinking same frequency. Okay. Your choice of thing, the work you do, you may not have the same circumstances, but still you see so much of commonality in your life. That's called Samipya. Now please tell me, Sri Rama is your deity and you are close to Sri Rama. Then what is psychological closeness means to you? What will happen psychological closeness to you? I'll ask the question, right? Because all of you, I don't have to explain Sri Rama, Sri Krishna or Shiva. So I'll give two examples. Shiva is psychologically close to you, and Rama is psychologically close to you. What is the difference? What is if Rama, the way Rama thinks, you also start thinking, how it will happen to you in your life? That's psychological closeness. That's called Samipya. So how will it be?
I listen to my parents.
And do not got married by this time.
Get married and go to forest.
So Rama is Vigraha Dharma. Rama is the embodiment of Dharma. Okay. So he is an ideal son. He is an ideal husband. Ideal friend. He is an ideal enemy. Okay. And he doesn't violate Dharma. Okay. So if you are psychologically close to Rama, what happened to your life?
Not become like him.
You will not become physically like him.
Our deeds,
Your actions will be guided by Dharma in every respect. That is psychological close to Rama. That's from Salokya to Samipya. You will become a replica, miniature representative. That's what is meant by human beings are made in the image of God. He is the Bimba, I am Pratibimba. I am the reflection. Have you become the reflection? Or your illusion? Have you become the reflection of your deity?
Actions are proof.
Yeah. Ultimately, your actions will translate into that. The deity may be at universal level, but at individual level, you become embodiment of Dharma. If Shiva is your deity, what are the qualities of Shiva?
stillness, reverence.
He is called Vairagi. Vairagi.
No family.
No, it is wrong. See, this Shiva has a family. Okay? Parvati is there, and Ganesha is children, Subramanya is there. Shiva is the highest yogi, and he is a grahastha, and he is a Vairagi. See the concept, please understand, all these concepts are given to you because your mind starts thinking some drastically different things. Yogi means you have to go to Himalayas. Shiva goes to Himalayas, but he is a family. Okay, yogi means running away from family. We have always got wrong concepts. You have a family, you are completely detached, and you are highest yogi. That's Shiva. So qualities of yoga will appear in your life. Qualities of detachment will appear in your life. If yoga and detachment is not there in your life, still you can say you are Shivaputta. Okay? I am such a bhakta of Hanuman. Fine, Baba. What qualities of Hanuman has reflected in your life? Is there a percentage of courage has come in your life? Is there a percentage of devotion has come in your life? Unless he has become Bimba and you have become Pratibimba, he has the origin and your reflection, how can you call you a bhakta of somebody? Even the percentage of the qualities of the deity has not come in your life, then what do you call yourself as? Understand? So if you are somebody is a devotee of Shiva, you can see the highest detachment, you can see highest wisdom. Shiva is the embodiment of wisdom. Yoga, has it appeared in your life? No, I meditated, I saw deity. You saw deity, this is called Sarokya. But has it become Sarokya? Samipya? Have you become closer to deity? The qualities of deity has come in your life? That's called Samipya. Okay. Then comes, Samipya means closeness. Sarupya means identity. Now, your mind becomes identical with the deity whom you are. Samipya is closeness, Sarupya is identity. So what happens if your mind has become identified with Rama's mind? Please tell me. If your mind has become identified with Shiva's mind, what will happen to you?
that same quality nature, Vairagya quality.
Now you will no longer be individual.
You become a God.
You are becoming a part of the universal. So now what happens? It will not be, you are not confined to individual. Your qualities will reflect on others in and around you. You are no longer individual. The deity's qualities will reflect through you. You become the vigraha of that deity. Otherwise, what you are doing, you are worshipping a vigraha, stone vigraha. You become living vigraha of that deity. You become the living replica of Rama. You are becoming living replica of Shiva. Not that you made the universe. Okay? In terms of qualities, what Rama would have done in the situation will happen through you in that situation. That's called Saurabhya.
That is what gurus and all are in that.
I'll come to that. Basically, there is more, less and less become individuals and more becomes universal. Otherwise, you are individual. Then comes the Sayujya. Sayujya means total oneness. Then there is no distinction between you and the deity. You have merged with the deity. The deity alone remains. You have become Vigrahavan Dharma. You become the embodiment of Dharma. So in Sarupya, you have the experience of the deity in your life. So what experience Rama has when he follows Dharma in his life, that becomes Sarupya. Sayujya means there is no distinction between you and the deity, there is no gap. Instead of you thinking, the deity thinks through you. It has become identity. So these actually are 4 levels of experience with deity. You have to, from a physical level to a psychological level to an intellectual level to a spiritual level, the experience has to happen. The experience at spiritual level is called darshana. We use the word darshana word very wrongly. When I go to temple, I say I had a darshana of the deity. That darshana of the deity is at the physical level. It's only a small fraction of the reality. The total reality can happen at the physical, psychological, intellectual and spiritual level. That experience is called darshana. So Ganesha is Mulahara. He is close to earth. Mulahara is close to earth plane. Ganesha color is red because the frequency of vibration is the closest to earth. Okay. Second thing is Ganesha is Pradama Puja because he is the intellect. Okay. Ultimately, for any successful love, intellect has to become. Then Ganesha is called Gana Isha. Okay. What is Ganesha? Gana Isha?
Lot of Ganas.
Lot of Ganas, right? You see in TV serial, you will understand. All dancing and singing songs and all, right? So that's not that Gana. Gana is Indriya Gana, sense organs. Okay. So a Ganesha is one who is a master of sense organs. That means your intellect has become so pure, it directs the sense organs. Otherwise, all the people are Ganadasa, they are slave of sense organs. Okay. So how do you say that, how am I saying something? Ganesha is the one who has become master of sense organs. That's why in Ganesha, all sense organs are magnified. You look at Ganesha picture, idol. Every sense organ in Ganesha is magnified. Ear become big, eyes become small, which sharp. The teeth become big, means the taste becomes larger. Thick skin, which is stretched, becomes thicker, elephant skin. Just to indicate to you that Ganesha means one who has become master of sense organs. So Ganesha you can experience 4 or 5 levels actually. You do just Ganesha puja without understanding anything about Ganesha. That's puja. You have a vision of Ganesha. That's the physical level. You have a samipya, psychological understanding of psychological experience of Ganesha. It's called samipya. You have intellectual clarity about the way Ganesha thinks and you work with him. then your work gets, because your intellect becomes purified, that's called sarupya. Your intellect becomes so sharpened that you have a universal impact on the life, it's called sahitya. Yeah. Any questions? Huh?
We are good answers.
Clear answer? Any doubts are there? So, the darshana, what we use is not a correct word. Darshana is actually different levels. Physical level, psychological level, intellectual level, spiritual level. When all the 4 levels are involved, it's called darshana. We use only the sensing part as darshana, which is not complete. It is true, but not full. When these portions happen, then there is a deeper total transformation of the individual.
How is that very different actually?
See, that's another discussion. No problem. I can tell you, but the only thing is,
Our topic you divert.
yeah. So what do you want to do? You want to continue talking about it?
Sorry, strategic.
Huh? Swadhisthana. I'll continue Swadhisthana. The Swadhisthana is related to energy. Energy is of 3 types. Energy is actually, there is an energy center here, at the base here, where pelvic region. Energy generation is here, at the Manipura. Storage is here. Now, the energy stored gets distributed to various parts of the body. The deity for this center is called Shakti. There are 3 types of Shakti: Lakshmi, Durga, Saraswati. Lakshmi, Durga, Saraswati. So out of these 3 types of deities, Lakshmi, Durga, Saraswati, Lakshmi represents success, all kinds of success. Durga represents destruction. Saraswati represents wisdom. So when the energies in our body change, success, wisdom, and freedom, Durga, come in different proportions depending on the amount of change which happens in you. Okay. So that amount of change happening in you, this process is called Kundalini. Kundalini means Kundala, stored. The energy stored, that energy gets free. And free energy moves upwards into the Sahasrara region. This is called Sahasradara Padma. This is actually represented as the Shesha. Shesha Shayana, the place of the Narayana, abode of Narayana. Okay, this is the abode of Vishnu. So let us do. Slide. And switch off the fans. So, let us move the energy. This actually is a process called Shaktipat. Don't have to write it. So, the individual energy moves upwards and mixes up with the universal energy. So, that upward movement and moving with the universal energy is called Shaktipat, and awakening of Kundalini. Now, energy which mixes with universal energy will not stay like that. It will again come back to the individual level. The process goes up and down. But in the process, something happens. What happens in the process? You take a glass of water, put a blot of ink. Take a glass of water and put ink in that. The glass has become, the water has become blue. How you have to remove the blueness of the water? You want to remove the blueness of the water so that you can get a fresh water back. How do you do that? So what you have to do is you have to pour more water into the glass, put it in a bucket and keep pouring more water, fresh water, so that after some time it will become free from the color. Similarly, the individual energy and in our mind what is there has become polluted by the nature, material nature. Like a lot of ink has gone. So taking it to the universal level, taking it to the highest level of awareness and energy, coming back, every time you come back, a part of your ink block will go. It will become fresh. Do sufficiently, it will become fresh. This process is called Kundalini awakening. Your energy mixes with universal energy and come back. So every time you mix some part of the energy, it's purified. This is what is called Kundalini awakening. Very simple process. Any questions? Okay. So I'll teach you two methods of Kundalini awakening. Two processes of Kundalini awakening. One process is called Shaktipat and others is called Yoga, through Yoga. So both processes I teach you. Shaktipati is the energy transfer from the master to the disciple. That energy transfer is called Shaktipat. Awakening energy of the disciple to the energy of the master. It's called Shaktipat. Very simple and natural process, nothing complex about it. It's like lighting a lamp from another lamp, as simple as that. The another process is called through yoga. Okay. So difference between Shaktipat and yoga, what is that? In yoga, there is a sadhaka who is involved, there is an ego involved. In Shaktipat, there is no ego, you are recipient. In one method, there is a individual effort. That's called yoga. Individual effort is called yoga. The grace is called Shaktipat. In grace, there is no individual effort. It's a recipient. There are two processes. Any questions? Okay. So now I'll tell you what happens here. At the top of your head, there is a bone. As a child, this bone was not closed; it is open, soft. Right? As the child becomes grown up, the soft bone closes and becomes hardened here. All of you know that, right? This portion. When the bone was soft, when there was no closure, when the skin was there, bone is not closed. The consciousness of the child, energy of the child was mixing up with the universal energy very freely, more connected to God. Okay. So when that closure happened, there is actually a feeling of this connection, both at the energy level and psychological level. So this is the center through which you can re-experience that connection the higher consciousness. That's why it's called Sahasrara. Sahasrara means thousands of petals. And these thousands of petals opening up, flowering is called Shesha. The spinal cord represents the tail of the Shesha, and this is the opening of the Shesha. Any questions? So what happens there, as your individual consciousness merges with universal consciousness, there is no visualization required, no imagination required, no thinking required. Just simple merger. More and more you will acquire the qualities of the divine in your life, and the transformation happens. That is the process of Shakti. First process called Shakti. Anybody has a doubt? Let's proceed. So, the process I did. You sit, your feet close. Like this, or like this. So you can keep it in Chin Mudra, or you can keep your hands like this. When you do that, first we'll start with the couple of deep breath. Then we'll chant couple of Omkara, moving our energy from the base of the spine to the Sahasrara vibration you can feel. Then I touch the top of your head, okay, and you can feel the energy movement at the top of your head. Just be aware of the energy movement at that level. Feel that energy and be with an understanding that my individual energy has merged with the universal energy. My individual consciousness is with the divine consciousness. When we put it in this thing, Shiva consciousness merges with the Jiva, individual consciousness, merges with the Shiva consciousness. That is actually what is called the darshan, merger of the consciousness. Okay. So when your mind comes back, mind can get drifted. Then again you have to remember your true nature and stay there. What's your true nature? Repeat it. Nan Nanembudu Nanalla Ideha Mana Buddhi Nanalla Sachidanandatma Shivanangani Shivoham Shivoham. When I say Shiva, it's not a person, it's about consciousness, auspicious consciousness. My nature is Chaitanya, Atma Swarupa. I am of the nature of Atma, Shivoham. Okay. My nature is I am Atma Swarupi. Atma is Paramatma, is Bimba, I am Pratibimba. My nature is also of pure consciousness. I am not a body, I am not mind, I am not intellect, I am pure consciousness. My consciousness and energy is merging in the divine consciousness and energy at the center. Individual means the universal. That attitude you have. When the mind gets bombarded with thoughts, again you remember this and take your attention there. If the vibrations drop there, okay, vibrations if it drops there, you pray to the divine to keep hand on the head. The master, the divine guru, touching away. Please understand, in this process there is no individual effort. It's a pure surrender. This is called Sharanagati. Surrender to the divine, surrender to the master. That energy will move upwardly. Okay? And as you spend that energy movement upward, that mental or mental kleshas, impurities will drop. Just like a glass of water mixing up, ink blot getting flushed with the water. Okay? Just accept it. So, step number 1 is deep breathing. Number 2 is Omkara chanting. And when you sit, your head should be not like this, not like this, slightly bent backwards. You should feel a pull here. Not if you do like this, neck will be painful. Not like this. Some people fall into sleep. Meditation is not about sleeping. Meditation is full awareness. Slight bending. Okay, then energy will move. The spinal cord should be straight. Okay. Any questions? We'll proceed. Take 5 deep breaths, deep abdominal breath.